who I am? I am Boba Fett.
Hello there.
This is where the fun begins.
Hey there guys, Unofficial Star Wars here. Hope you're all doing well, and in this video we're going to be talking about Boba Fett and how Temuera Morrison, the Boba Fett actor, wants to make his character more badass again. We're gonna go ahead, we're gonna hop right on into it. Taking a read from the director article, I'm gonna have their full article linked in the description down below for you guys to check out there as well. As a read, Boba Fett actor Temuera Morrison wants to bring back the old quote-unquote badass side of his Star Wars bounty hunter in the future. Despite only enjoying a few minutes of screen time in Star Wars' original trilogy, Boba Fett has always been one of the franchise's most iconic characters. Recently, the popular bounty hunter was given a new lease of life on Disney+. As Jango Fett actor Temuera Morrison stepped into the role for The Mandalorian Season 2. Temuera Morrison, of course, first appearing in Star Wars in the prequel trilogy from the early 2000s as the bounty hunter Jango Fett and the Clone Army. Across both of his adventures with Din Djarin and his own of the Book of Boba Fett spin-off on Disney+, Disney was criticized for not delivering enough of the badassery that the character has long been associated with, and clearly the actor behind Boba Fett agrees with this as well, as he has revealed how he wants that to change going forward. This can mean a lot going forward with Boba Fett and his overall character. This can be somewhat of a confirmation for the Book of Boba Fett Season 2, and of course also having him reappear in the Mandalorian future seasons there as well. However, that being said, I think that it was a little bit of a given that we would of course have Temuera Morrison's Boba Fett reappear in the Mandalorian Season 3 at some point in time. That's why I have a video talking about that here on the channel. And on top of that, a Book of Boba Fett Season 2 with the potentiality of that going back a couple of months over the summer. I want to say around July, it was actually accidentally leaked, or like leaked confirmed, that this would be actually happening for a second season for the show. I have that video linked in the description down below for you guys to check out as well. Recently speaking with Entertainment Tonight, the Book of Boba Fett star Temuera Morrison shared his hopes for his legendary bounty hunter to return to his quote-unquote badass ways in future Star Wars appearances. After the finale of the Disney Plus solo outing left Boba Fett's story quite open, and Temuera Morrison revealed his desire to return somewhere and to see the old Boba Fett, saying that in full quote, "We've got to bring him back somewhere. We've got to see the old Boba Fett." Temuera Morrison added on to that as well, saying that fans have found out some stuff about the character and campaigned to get him back to his badass ways, which I must say is beyond really honestly quite cool, seeing that yes, there are a lot of Star Wars fans out there that have kind of highly praised the Book of Boba Fett for one thing, but of course have also spoken on the topic of maybe potentially making this character more of his old self, in the sense of what we saw with a younger Boba Fett in Star Wars The Clone Wars animated show. He was quite fierce and ferocious, especially after Mace Windu. And I also believe that fans also speak not just from where we saw Boba Fett in Star Wars The Clone Wars, but also from when he was first introduced or reintroduced in The Mandalorian Season 2. He flew down with his jetpack and a gaffy stick and was just beating the crap out of all of these stormtroopers, and people thought it was amazing. So to see the return of that to some extent, I think is something that a lot of Star Wars fans would like to see. While Temuera Morrison speaks on the subject, saying that in full quote, "We reintroduced him. We found out some stuff, but I think it's time to get him back to his badass ways. No two ways around that. So I think we sort of have that scope to go back there, but that's out of my control. I'll just see what happens." Ending the quote right there. Seeing that it is kind of out of Temuera Morrison's control for when it comes to writing the overall character, but yes, I think he does kind of get some type of say here for when it comes to working with these directors here actually on set. And I also believe that what a lot of people are looking for within Boba Fett is simply just really more fight scenes, I think, to an extent, or at least more badass type of fight scenes, instead of having maybe just bodyguards or other people handle these types of situations for him. It's somebody that he would want to get his own hands dirty and that kind of sense. And that is something that we definitely saw towards the end of the Book of Boba Fett show, and I think is something that's quite often quite really overlooked. It's something I think that we'll see set up in the Mandalorian Season 3 a little bit more, furthermore a little bit more established from there as well, seeing that he doesn't think that he's really fit and really doesn't want to rule Mos Espa as a daimyo. He wants to go off and explore and kind of get back to his old ways, is kind of what he said there towards the end of the show. That all being said, when will Boba Fett return to Star Wars? As the director article continues, the Book of Boba Fett took a unique approach to the character as he took over Jabba the Hutt's criminal empire and throne, while a series of flashbacks filled involved in his story after falling into the Sarlacc pit in Return of the Jedi. However, this was not the direction that many fans were hoping to see Disney Plus take the legendary character and bounty hunter. Although Boba Fett did have a few badass moments in his solo outing and his own spin-off show, those moments were few and far between, and audiences and fans had been expecting something far more. Hopefully, whenever the bounty hunter turned crime lord next finds his way into Star Wars, Temuera Morrison will get his wish of bringing back the badassness that made Boba Fett such a famous and prominent and iconic character within Star Wars overall. Somebody that's kind of low-toned and quiet, somebody that's just kind of simply in the back there as well. As of for now, Fett continues to lead his criminal empire, and that doesn't mean he can't take a step back into the action down the line. When exactly Temuera Morrison will next appear remains uncertain, but with many projects exploring the Mandoverse timeline at the moment, that wait may not be long after all. Perhaps we'll see him back to help with Din Djarin once again in The Mandalorian Season 3, since the pair took on to be having quite an established some level of friendship. Alternatively, Fett could have found his way into either the Ahsoka show or even Star Wars Skeleton Crew, both of which that are going to be Mandoverse shows, and kind of all taking place simultaneously all at the same time. But those series seem to have less obvious opportunities for him to really play any type of role or really make any sense for him to appear. As the article concludes, the Book of Boba Fett has not yet been renewed for a second season, officially, but the latest update did sound rather hopeful, as I had mentioned at the beginning of this video, that there may have been some type of a little bit of a leak confirming that there would be a second season of the Book of Boba Fett. That video, as I had mentioned, is linked in the description down below. So let's talk a little bit about this. Boba Fett, I think, is easily one of my most favorite Star Wars characters as of right now, and I can't wait to see the return of him in The Mandalorian Season 3. I'm very, very certain that we're going to see him. It may only be for an episode or two, but nonetheless, I think that Boba Fett will play some type of prominent role here for The Mandalorian Season 3, and that furthermore, the third season of The Mandalorian will help us establish and heavily set up what we would see here in a second season of his show. Seeing him get out of Mos Espa and off of Tatooine, off-world, and going out to explore a little bit more. I think that he has some unfinished ties against Mace Windu, and I think that could be a potential plot point that to be set up and established for the third season of The Mandalorian, seeing that a lot of fans believe in hashtag Mace Windu lives. I definitely believe that there would be some type of long-standing rivalry between these two characters, seeing that Mace Windu is the one that finished off Boba Fett's father, Jango Fett, in Attack of the Clones. And on top of that, I have to defend Boba Fett here a little bit more. I mean, when people say that they want him to go back to his badass ways, sure, he was cool and menacing, but how interesting is that character really when he's simply just standing there? He doesn't say much. We have to go underneath his armor, outside of the box type of thing here, and really get to know this character of Boba Fett outside of the armor. What he wants to do, what his goals are, what he wants to accomplish, and his overall story from there as well. He can't just simply be standing around looking menacingly cool as a badass in the corner for, well, 6 episodes of his own show. They have to give him something. And I think what they really did with this character in his own show, Book of Boba Fett, really kind of resigns around with what they did with him in Star Wars The Clone Wars, and they kind of make that character a little bit more prominent. They gave him more of a story and fleshed him out a little bit more. Anyway, I want to know your thoughts and opinions in the comment section down below. I'd absolutely would love to hear what you guys all think here on the topic of Boba Fett here overall. What would you want to see in a potential season 2, and what would you want to see with this character returning in Star Wars overall, especially the third season of The Mandalorian? Let me know your thoughts and opinions in the comments down below. Of course, this has been Unofficial Star Wars. Thanks so much for watching today's video. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Have a great one, guys. May the Force be with you as always. Peace out.